Hello everybody and welcome. My name is SprinkleBeard. I go live on twitch.tv/SprinkleBeard pretty much every day around 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. So if you're trying to catch me, currently that is the best time. I'm trying real hard to be proper at it. So today's video, guys, what we're going to talk about is 6-starring champions and the importance of it. So here I'm going to highlight a demon spawn that I'm currently working on because we're going to prove a point. So for those of you who do not know what's the value of 6-starring a champion, they usually get extra bonus stats. It's not just like, yes, from 5-star to 6-star, you know, they can get an increased 10 levels, but some characters, so like in this case, a Chalk here, actually gains 15 accuracy base, right? So he doesn't now have a 0 in that column. Some other characters might get crit damage, they might get resist, they might get speed. So like Apothecary, for instance, very popular high elf healer in the game. He gains more base speed by being taken to 6-star. Yes, obviously all his characters will get like attack, HP, and defense. That's standard, right? In a game like this. But there are, you know, plenty of reasons that you want to 6-star your champion. But obviously, one of the problems can be, and while I talk about this, we're going to go look at my Chalk, who's level 49 right now. And we're just going to look at his stats. Now, some of his stats are increased because of my Great Hall. So there are certain things that are influencing his numbers. But here you can see he has no base accuracy. So that is quite the big deal. But then, like, you know, here he has 11,000 health. I think the fully ascended and 6-star version, 17,000. Like that's a massive difference. The defense was an additional 400. So he basically gets like a 30% increase to his defense. There's plenty of reasons just showing this, and I could have done a better job of it, but for quickness sake, take my word on it. But one of the problems with ascending champions, sometimes it can be hard if you're not sure if you're using them for like a fusion, if you just have dupes of something, whether or not you are trying to build something out of certain champions. So I've come up with a system that I find to be quite solid, and we're going to discuss it here today. So for me, what made the most sense, rather than using blues and, you know, epics and trying to sort them out, what I had decided is, you get so many grays in this game, let's take advantage of the fact that you have an unlimited amount of grays that you are given. So what I did was, first off, I divide them up between male and female. So all my females get taken to 10, and that's just because I prefer to look at them, you know, eye candy and other reasons like that. So I take them to plus 10, and then all my men and my skeletons and whatnot get fed over. Now there is a small exception to this, is that sometimes the ratio doesn't match, right? Because like the game is full RNG. There's times where I get tons of skeletons and tons of troglodytes and end up not having enough women to level up to defeat the men to. And so in that case, yes, there's times where I use the skeletons or the troglodytes. But dogs was my big answer. So usually it's just women and dogs, and then there is a small exception, which I'll clear up in just a moment. Whenever you do not have an experience event or there's not a champion training event, I would encourage you, if you're farming the campaign for money, you start with your 1-stars. And the reason why is that they're usually worth 1 point or no points for a lot of champion training events. So they're kind of considered like a waste of time. I personally have my sparring pit fully maxed out. I find that extremely useful for leveling grays. So I have 4 grays in there, and then certain other characters that I'm like trying to like top off, or characters that I'm working on for a fusion, getting them to 40. That way I don't have to like waste time leveling them up and so on and so forth. So anyways, now that we have a way for us to use our 1-stars, right? And we're basically using all of them because the men are getting fed to the women, and so that will clear out, you know, like 80% of it. And then skeletons and troglodytes, you can kind of do whatever you want with. You can level up, you know, women, dogs, and skeletons, and then feed off the troglodyte, whatever makes you happy. But when the ratio gets too bad, and here you can see I have tons more men and tons of troglodytes still left. There's times where like I'll just cut that in half, right? I'll use up all the troglodytes and maybe all these gents here to feed off the rest of them here. So now that we get to 2-star, same thing. I feel like the game gives you plenty of uncommons, and most of the time I don't want the uncommons. And I don't want the mix-up. So what I did was I have chosen that my girls and my dogs, they still get leveled up, and I just feed off any green, any uncommon at all. So it's no longer, you know, women and dogs move up and men and other things go down. It's just the gray women and the gray dogs. They're the only things that go up. And if there was ever an exception, thank you, phone, for that. Of course you have to give me that alert right now. The only exception I have for that, again, is kind of the same problem that I ran into earlier, where if you just have so many of something and you're just trying to use it up, this is the best way. Once I get to level 3, this is where my rules have changed. I like Diabolist, and since I usually farm 12-3, or a lot of other people might farm 12-6 for the better experience but less silver, farm whichever one makes sense to you. If you're not able to farm this high yet, you would just farm either the highest shield level in the campaign that you can get to. The reason why is that shields have a chance to sell for like about an additional 5k more. If they're a green shield and they're like 3-star if you're on normal, I think it's 4-star on hard, and then 5-star on brutal, they can sell for an additional $5,000, which is very meaningful. A lot of other people prefer the highest boot level you can, because it's worth the most experience. Ironically enough, the bosses are not the best experience for their levels. I like Diabolist, and the reason why is my campaign farmer doesn't always one-shot the waves. She's very close. I think I just need to upgrade her helmet to being a 6-star helmet with some better stats, and she'll start one-shotting the waves. So for me, I preferred the Diabolist to move them up, and then I actually use Houndspawn here because you also get him. I've started using them as my level 4 food. So as I'm going to scroll up past all these level 30s, here you can see I have a bunch of Diabolists prepared. Here there was a champion training event, so I fed these dogs potions, because during champion training events, the higher star your champion is, the more points you get. So the brews and everything that you seem to get endless amounts of, I save them up for those events, and then when I need a bunch of points, I just take whatever 4-star or 5-star champions I have, scroll down to my brews, and get my drinking game on. And what I really like is that 6 brews take me to exactly level 25 on most of my characters. But yeah, you would get a bunch of points for that. And that's also obviously if you have enough silver to dump for a champion training event. Obviously, there's things like the artifact enhancement event where you're spending a lot of money. Silver, not money, silver on. So, do whatever makes the most sense to you. But I'll take a bunch of them up. Now, I just recently made my Umbral Enchantress here. I just recently made her 6-star, so I don't have anything 5-star specifically to show you. But obviously, I'm in very prime position. I can just take these dogs. Here I do have one 5-star dog, and again, I took him to level 30 because there was a champion training event going on. But I found this was the easiest way for me to organize my thoughts. And what's really nice is that, Houndspawn, his kit isn't good enough that you're ever really going to 6-star him. I'd be really, really shocked if anybody ever 6-starred him. So this made things really obvious for me. Yes, you might have a Diabolist level 6, because when you first farm her, she's actually a decent turn meter manipulator alongside of High Katoon. Both of them can be really good, really free, and she has the advantage that you can farm her, but High Katoon you obviously get for free in your first week. So it's just preference, whichever one you use. Obviously, I prefer demons over High Katoon, so I would be using Diabolist. I hope this video helps, though. It was a very easy way for me to keep organized, And here again, like there are certain exceptions where there's a champion training event going on. I'm like, I just need to level up a bunch of people. So I leveled them up. So I took these guys to 4-star. But once these guys are max level, like level 40, or these Diabolists are at level 40, I just feed them off because they're grays. And it's very obvious when you go to rank somebody up. That's going to be a terrible example. Burgess here. When you go to rank somebody up, looking at this, you can just instantly see, like, why do I have a bunch of grays down here? It feels great. They feel like chickens. It makes it very simple, compact. You know what all you're doing with all your grays. For those of you wondering, if you fully max out your sparring pit with gems, I hear a lot of controversy about it. I would say from experience, I think if you don't enjoy the game, or if there's a chance where you're like, I don't know if I am enjoying the game, I would never max out all of these level 3 of 3. I think maybe slot 1 of 3, and then just putting in all your grays. So here you can say I have 4 gray girls going. If I stay on top of it, I think it's like 5 hours to fully level them up to 10. And there's a lot of times where, like, you know, breaks at work or you're lounging around the house, just log onto your phone real quick, level everybody up, log off your phone, and you have basically a near unlimited supply of food. For me, it's like 13 minutes for level 1, and then it turns into like an hour and 10 minutes at their max level, like from 9 to 10. But it's really not that bad. Again, I hope that this is helpful for people just trying to keep track of everything in this game, because there is a lot of information. I'm going to keep making little helpful videos like this. Hey, Sprinkles. There you go. Good girl. But until that next time, thank you very much for watching. Ta-ta. I gotta get my mouse on the right screen to end the video.